المحطات المترابطة لم تكن شريك مع راديو، سنقوم ببث برنامجك عبر مواقع متعددة مثل واو، أويل، كواجوك، يامبيو، بور، رنج، ملكال وباليت، وبيضمن أقصى قدرة من التغطية والتأثير.
التواجد الإقليمي: بتمتد بصمة آي راديو إلى ولاية غرب وشمال بحر الغزال، غرب والاستوائية الوسطى، جونغلي، أعالي النيل ووراب. من خلال التعاون مع آي راديو يمكنك التواصل مع المجتمعات المتنوعة والجماهير المستهدفة في المناطق ديل.
مشاركة المجتمع: الشراكة مع آي راديو بتعني التعامل مع مجتمعات على مستوى الشعبي. رسالتك حتوصل للمستمعين في مواقع مختلف، مما يعزز التفاعلات الهاتفة ويزيد الوعي بعلامة تجارية.
التغطية الشاملة: مع محطات في مواقع استراتيجية زي الرنج، ملكال وباليت، بتوفر آي راديو تغطية شاملة بتصل إلى كل من المراكز الحضرية والمناطق الريفية. بتضمن شراكتك مع آي راديو الرؤية عبر منطقة جغرافية واسعة.
ما تفوت فرصة توسيع نطاق رسالتك باستخدام آي راديو. شارك أو أعلن معنا الليلة وخلي صوتك مسموع في جميع أنحاء جنوب السودان.
Welcome to the Sundown Show. On this show, we bring you the movers and shakers of South Sudan and the world over. We engage in debates and discussions that unearth the stories behind the news. And we have our light moments too by chit-chatting about issues that affect our day-to-day life. Stay right here on the Sundown. Join in and be part of the show on iRadio, your eye on South Sudan.
برنامج سانداون هو وجهتكم للأخبار والآراء والنقاشات والحوارات. استمعوا إلى البرنامج حيث يتحدث فيه أصحاب القرار عن قضايا تؤثر في بلدنا وغارتنا، فقط عبر برنامج سانداون على آي راديو. عينك على جنوب السودان.
Hello and welcome to the Sundown Show on I Radio with me, Madrama James. We begin this show in the Parliament. Lawmakers at the National Legislative Assembly have today passed the National Sports Development Policy 2024 after extensive deliberation. The policy, first introduced by former Minister of Youth and Sports, Dr. Joseph Gengakech, aims to transform the country's sports sector by promoting professionalism, empowering young people, and strengthening national unity through sports. The framework focuses on key areas including sports governance, infrastructure development, financing, capacity building, and gender inclusion. Lawmakers also recommended a $5 million annual allocation to the Ministry of Youth and Sports to support its implementation, along with plans to establish a National Sports Academy, Sports Science Institute, and introduce e-sports education in schools and university. Now let's listen to the recommendation of the chairperson of the Committee on Sports and on Youth and Sports, Honorable Deng Mathiang Ngong, in this following speech.
Right, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Members of the August House, recommendation. The committee have considered the National Sport Development Policy, hereby presents the following recommendation to this August House for adoption. Number one, the August House should endorse the National Sport Development Policy as a national framework for advancing sports and youth development in South Sudan. Number two, the Ministry of Finance and Planning should ensure a timely annually budgetary allocation of $5 million or its equivalent in South Sudanese pound to the Ministry of Youth and Sport to facilitate effective policy implementation. Number three, the Ministry of Youth and Sport should formulate subsidiary, legal, and regulatory framework and review existing sports laws to strengthen the governance, enforce anti-doping measures, regulate the management of sport federation and association. 4. The government should prioritize the construction and rehabilitation of the National Stadium in all state and three administrative areas, ensuring equitable access to modern facilities. 5. The ministry should establish a national sports academy and sports science institute to train coaches, referees, and sport managers to international standards. 6. The government, through the Ministry of Youth and Sport, should promote private sector's participation and create incentives for investors to develop and manage sport facilities under transparent public-private partnership arrangements. 7. The ministry should mainstream gender inclusion by supporting women's participation in sport and leadership roles, while addressing cultural barriers that limit female engagement. 8. The ministry, in collaboration with partners, should institutionalize the annual Mayadi Peace Tournament and other community-based sports initiatives and instruments for peace building and reconciliation. 9. The ministry should develop a robust monitoring and evaluation framework to track implementation, progress, measures impacts, and ensure accountability at all levels. 10. The ministry should strengthen public-private partnership and introduce incentives to attract local and foreign investment in sports infrastructure. This should be implemented in accordance with the National Social Corporate Responsibility and Corporate Local Content Policy. 11. The committee recommends that the Ministry of Youth and Sport should institutionalize an annual National Sports Award ceremony aimed at recognizing, motivating, and celebrating the country's best performing athletes, footballers, coaches, and sports associations. This initiative will serve to promote sports excellence, encourage talent development, and enhance national pride and unity through acknowledgement of individuals and teams who have brought honor to the Republic of South Sudan. 12. The committee recommended that the government of the Republic of South Sudan, through the Ministry of Youth and Sports, in a collaboration with the Ministry of General Education and Instruction and the Ministry of Higher Education, Science and Technology, establish electronic sports education programs in school, vocational institutes, and universities to promote digital literacy, innovation, and youth empowerment through technology-driven sports development. 13. The committee recommends that the Ministry of Lands, Housing, and Physical Infrastructure, in a collaboration with the state governors, allocate public land to the Ministry of Youth and Sport for the construction of national stadium and the promotion of sports investment across the country. 14. The committee recommends that the National Development Sport Policy be reviewed every 3 years to ensure its continued relevance, effectiveness, and alignment with emerging trends and priorities in the sport sector. Right, Honorable Speaker, honorable members of the August House. Conclusion. The Joint Committee affirmed that the National Sport Development Policy provides a transformative framework for the professionalization of sport, the empowerment of young people, and the strengthening of national cohesion. Its implementation will empower South Sudanese youth, stimulate economic opportunities, and strengthen the nation's identity in the global sporting arena. Right, Honorable Speaker, honorable members of the August House, I therefore move that the report, together with the recommendation, be adopted by this August House to be fully implemented as a matter of national priority. I respectfully submit it to the August House, and thank you.
Well, that was Honorable Mathiang Dengong, who is the chairperson of the Committee on Sports, Youth and Sports at the National Parliament, speaking right there. Meanwhile, before passing of the policy, lawmakers have had the deliberations, and the policy was unanimously passed with all recommendations adopted. Now, let's listen to the lawmakers' deliberation right here.
Right Honorable, I rise to recognize the importance of the sport and the role which was being done by the sport. I want to give you an example. During the wartime, we were as Twitch County in Gogial, in a greater Gogial, I mean, Warab State. We used to play the sport, and even you, I think you have had by then. And from that time, among themselves, as a community of Twitch, they don't have any hatred among them. And what unites the people is the sport. The youth have realized themselves and they recognize themselves and they know each other, and there is no way people to just get up with the hatred as we are now. It is the right time, as we know very well where our country is going. We are going our side through the hatred, community to the community. And if we just support this youth policy on sport, I think it will change a little something within our community, and it will bring the youth together. The good thing, they said that they will just make the integration to whole 10 states plus 3 administrative areas. We want to change the culture of the hatred to the culture of peace and reconciliation among our society, right, Honorable Speaker. And as you know very well, and we know all of us, the youth are the backbone of the country. And if we allow them to live like this in that culture, the culture of hatred, war to war, the state against the state, county against the county, I think one day, one time, we will forget about the country of South Sudan. And we will be called the country of the war. I shall the right Honorable Speaker, let us support.
Thank you, Right Honorable, for opportunity. My name is Paul Pio, representing Northern Barkazal States. I will SPLM. First, I would like to congratulate the Ministry of Youth and Sport for tabling this important bills and policies for the youth. Also, I would like to join my colleague to congratulate also the Joint Committee for the great job they have done with this youth, with this sport policy. Right Honorable Speaker, this policies is very important policy to give our youth the legal framework for developing sports, and also this the policy, sport policy will even answers the questions of why youth are involved in community conflicts, also why they are involved in drugs activity. So definitely these sport policies will help youth to get out in those comfort zones and develop their skills and give them hopes for their future in terms of sport activity. I will definitely urge the House to support these important bills, and not also only to support it, but also to give concrete measure to for implementation and monitoring and accountability, so that the sports can be truly a source of pride and unity for our nations. And thank you for giving me the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. Next. Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. I'm Grace Avalan from Eastern Equatoria. Honorable Speaker, I want to add my voice to congratulate the committee for tabling this sport development policy. And also I want to congratulate the Ministry of Sport for tabling very important policy. You know, last week we discussed the youth policy, and today we are discussing the sport policy. And Madam Speaker, this is the ministry, since we started this transitional parliament, the ministry, which is very active, it has tabled many of the policies in the parliament. So we really want to thank them for taking the matter of sports and youth very serious. Madam Speaker, I will go to the recommendation, and especially the issue to do with development of women's sport. Madam Speaker, we have seen here in South Sudan, especially our men think sports, especially the football one, is the business of men. Right, Honorable Speaker, when you see all over the world, the women football is the sports that attracts money. And when you see the South Sudan Football Federation, you'll see it's run only by men. Madam Speaker, we wanted to see that this policy have taken care of that issue, especially the leadership of South Sudan Football Federation. Madam Speaker, also when you go to recommendation number 7 or 6, talks about community tournaments. Honorable Speaker, community tournaments is very good in South Sudan. It brings people together, it brings peace, but also sometimes, Madam Speaker, these community tournaments have turned to be a theater of war. We have seen in cases where guns are shot during these football tournaments. We have seen where chairs are broken, people fight, especially in Bullock Playground with this community tournament. I think also this policy should regulate how this football community tournament should be run. Honorable Speaker, for us in Eastern Equatoria, we have this Monyobiji football tournament. This football tournament is very interesting here in Juba. Bring our people together, people dance. I think the rest of the communities need to copy what Monyobiji is doing when it comes to their football tournament, because it's really very peaceful. But for the rest of the regions, you will see really, and you will say there's no need for us to have these community tournaments. Honorable Speaker, also this policy did not take care of inter-school competition. I have not seen anything talking about inter-school competition, because this inter-school competition brings all the schools of the country together, and they know themselves, and it promotes talent, it promotes our children to go up to the international level. Without inter-school tournaments, I have seen for many years there's no inter-school tournaments in South Sudan. I think Minister of Sport, you have to take this issue of inter-school tournament very serious, especially at primary and secondary level. We need to see that one happen. I attended one in WOW when we were still in the Committee of Education. Up to now, I have not seen. Madam Speaker, this is a very good report. It will really promote sports in South Sudan. It will make our youth used to forget carrying guns. They will start thinking, this is sports bring money, because sport, you definitely become even rich. You have seen billionaires in the world who are people who play sports. So I will stand here. I support the passing of this policy. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. My name is Dingmoy Ubur Abraham. Eastern Equatorial State, Lafon County, SPLM. This bill has been overdue for a long time to equip the sport and to finance the sport of this country. I call it one of the important bills because it serves so many purposes. One, to stabilize and to include most of the people who are interested in sport, especially young people. Second, also encourage interaction between the citizens of this country. I rise also to say part of the recommendation. When we go through the recommendation, the policy is silent with people with a disability. I did not see the people with disability spot in the bill. So I'm adding that in the recommendation, the committee should include people with disabilities, how to develop the sport with people with disability across the country. Because in the world, there are also a sport with of people with disabilities. So it has to be included and how it can be financed. Two, the bill also need to clarify the levels of how the states get involved or get connected with the national policies. So it should not be left vague. So what I mean is if the policy is already adopted or passed, coming to law, we need the clear path on how this policy can be implemented in the states. And also, not just only passing it to the states, how can the state ministry be financed? So,
well, you heard it, of course, from the MPs debating on that, the sports policy. And if in case you have just joined us, you're listening to the Sundown Show on iRadio with me, Madrama James. Today, our focus is on the National Sports Development Policy 2024 after extensive deliberation. Now, the policy first introduced by former Minister of Youth and Sports, Dr. Joseph Gengakech, aimed to transform the country's sports sector by promoting professionalism, empowering young people, and strengthening national unity through sports. And the framework focuses on key areas including sports governance, infrastructure development, financing, capacity development, and gender inclusion. We have just heard that part A of the MP's debate. And now before that, let's have a look at also the part B of the MP's debate. But first, after this break.
في محل بتستهيك تكون فيه كليجما iRadio and تكون في جنوب السودان.
Well, before we listen to the part 2 of the MP's debate, a couple of your messages are right here, and I would like to go through those messages and keep them coming. We have a text coming in from Lux Davidson saying, watching you live here in Juba. W. Christopher is saying, yellow, Madrama James, and the listeners of iRadio. I'm watching you live from Western Equatoria State, Yambio. Eremugo Patrick is following us live from that Nimule municipality. Then Wal Abuok is saying excellent. And Nial Ngor Mwal is saying bravo. Then Sebita Gadluak is saying this is cool. We have Cleto Elia Henry, excellent. Mabior Luke Chan, well done. Keep those messages coming right here. And it's time now for us to listen to the MP's debate on a sports policy part 2.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity. My name is Clement Juma, Member of Parliament from Dongra Counties, representing Soa. I stand to add my voice. My first remark is that the policy talks much about creating a football stadium or national stadium. I have not seen anywhere where it is talking about recreation centers, because a football stadium is not accessible to everybody. But if you have recreation facilities, this will encourage the whole nations to be able to access those recreation facilities. And what do I mean by recreation facility? Recreation facility could mean things like parks, where children can go and play sports and do activities, rather than necessarily going to the National Football Stadium. National Football Stadium is good, but let us do something that will be more accessible to everybody. The other issue is about sustainability of the youth policy. How do we sustain that? We have children who are in primary education, and what program is there for these children to learn different type of skills and sports? In other countries, you find children already registering in clubs. And this club build professionalism. I'm glad that the policy talks about professionalization of sports, which is very important. If you want to sustain this, we have to start from a very basic level with very young kids. We are talking about 10 years old to begin to register in clubs, so that by the time they reach 18, they are already professionals in the field. So that is something that I would like to feature in this policy. Madam Speaker, it is also important for us to have a nation which is sporting. Sport is not necessarily for only young people. We have elderly people, we even people like us who are sitting in this hall. We need to be participating in sports. So this policy, I don't know how is it going to involve those who are not professionals in sports. So we want to see the policy diverting to include everyone in the sector, so that we have a healthy nation. Even if it means walking every morning, even if it means a day for sport, where the whole countries get on the road, they walk, they exercise. This is very healthy for a country that is seeking to develop as one of the developing nations. I have an issue about the recommendation of $5 million, Madam Speaker. I don't know really whether this is the budget that the policy have identified as a budget for the Ministry of Sports. Because it seems to me 5 million, you are just confining the ministry to 5 million, when we are expecting more to be done in the field of sports. So a bit of clarity about the 5 million usage will be important, because we are expecting the Ministry of Sports to be funded handsomely, not just $5 million, because the $5 million will only build for you maybe one football stadium. But you are talking about many football stadiums which will be in different states, including administrative area, and we want to add the recreation centers, which will also involve some funding. So a clarification about the 5 million will be very important, Madam Speaker. I want to stop here and say congratulations to the Committee of Sports for raising this and for the analysis that they have made, which I find to be very useful. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. My name is Bol Toby Madwot, Warabi State, Sano Party. Right Honorable Speaker, I wanted to add my voice to congratulate the committee under the acting chair for this great job they have done. Sports, Right Honorable Speaker, it's one of the tools that puts South Sudan in the map. If you go anywhere in Europe now and you say you're from South Sudan, they know South Sudan because of what our national basketball team did during the Olympics. So sports is a very important tool that can help South Sudan in many ways, leave alone only the peace agreement and also making sure bringing people of South Sudan together. I wanted to congratulate also our new Minister of Youth and Sports, Honorable Nawai. This came under your leadership now that the policy came. And also the new Undersecretary, Dr. Monica, who also pushed forward all this work to come. There is one area that actually I wanted to appeal to the Minister and the Undersecretary to focus on, the sports medicine. You know, sport medical, it's not practiced in South Sudan here. And we know a lot of players, they get injured, whether are students or players that playing professionally, and once you are injured in the game or in the practice, and then you go out looking for a place to heal or to get the treatment, there is no good place here in South Sudan. Most of the players resort to money and travel to Kenya, to Uganda, to different places to seek medical attention. This is very important. I know a lot of our young players who are very talented and very good, but because of the injury, they are not practicing anymore. And I think we have one of our honorable members, Dictora Gada. She was injured in one of the practice. Now she's limping because she didn't get the correct medical attention that she needs. So right on the speaker, sports medicine is very important. And I think once the budget comes, if we can inject extra, so this part can be added to the work of the ministry, it will be very helpful to the young athletes who are inspiring to represent South Sudan. Thank you, right on the speaker.
The last point from Honorable Bol. There is no sport without medical insurance.
Without what?
Insurance. The regular insurance for all the sport players, which I think we are missing in this policy. And I don't know if the last bill that was passed last week has been talk about it. There is a policy also. You know, our problem in this country is when we ignore the important part of where the policy on a document. First of all, the sport is exactly all over the world now. If you go to Europe, the budget of the sport is totally different because some clubs of the national football is starting by being privatized. But what made our team not to be very good in football also, we would like to follow side. Everything. I'm Honorable James Quinn, but my son or my daughter, if she or he not practice, cannot be in national team because I'm honorable. This is a part of a problem that need a guiding principle from the Minister of Youth and Sport.
Because you are honorable?
Because the national team that we are selected, that we have here, is a national team that are not practically in the football or and the clubs. But when it comes into the national football team, you just pick. We cannot even, our own social life cannot reach into this particular professionalism. So we need the football, federal football. We have been beaten even in our ground all the times, unaffected, because the selection is completely wrong. So we need to avoid this compromise in any selection. We can have a lot of good policy, a lot of good document, but if we don't have a guiding principle, I think that's a particular institution, we will not perform. So I would like the Minister of Youth and Sport to be a guiding principle in the federal federation body. This is number one. Number two, we cannot buy ourselves. My point number two is that when the tournament from the state of Philly come here, as a politician, we used to come and intervene. You don't know where these people have been trained. When they come to Juba, we want to own them. These are another problem. Why should you own something that you are not part of it? If you want to contribute, I used to be a part of young girl, how do you call them? A girl of, yes. I used to support them. Because I see them, they are performing when they come here. And I think they are using football, the EA team. They were very good.
But I don't know, they are even dropped because of the political struggling. People are just fighting among all these kids. The football is the talent. It's not to be politicized. That I know to challenge my job. If I become a board of director today, I have to pick a doubter to come and play. No, that is not a professionalism. I would advise all of us that if we want our team to perform regionally, and then we need to have a good guiding principle that we are not allowed any individual to approach the team that let us select based on our own rank. That is not the professionalism. Last point is the 5 million chairperson and the minister of youth. What is this 5 million? And it's supposed to be included. You have never known is it a moral support team or they want to go and use the ticket. The same to what happened to pray. As an individual, cut your ticket and participate. But let us not go and use the same money that has been allocated for the people who are going to play to be a business class money. I would like to advise also that this 5 million, I need a clarity. Or this officer will need a clarity about why you have only 5 million. Is it for the ministry? Is it for the clubs? Is it for the stadium? Is it for the people who are just going outside to be kept aside? And who is governing this 5 million if they are allocated? Thank you.
Up to here, it has brought us to the end of Indian sports policy.
Development partners and citizens to accelerate the move toward full digitization. Together, through digital transformation and cooperation, South Sudan will move forward stronger, transparent, and united for progress. South Sudan Revenue Authority, digitizing revenue, driving development.
And the music, keep it iRadio.
It's a Baghdad Diamond Wenisuma iRadio ala nimrata telefon 0911-986-986 au itabi reselu risala ala nimra 0913-986-986.
A warm welcome back from the commercial break, and it's time now for you to grab that cell phone and share your thought with us. What do you consider the government should prioritize first under the new national sports development policy? They talked of building modern stadium, training coaches and athletes, or promoting that's women participation in sports. 091122 986 and let your opinion be known right here, and via also our Facebook page.